The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Determination, skill, speed. These drivers will need all three to achieve victory, with only one goal: to be crowned the next Lionheart champion. 40 drivers and 28,000 horsepower racing to keep his memory alive. With so much on the line, they will push their cars to the limit. So buckle up. It's about to get wild.
He blows over and goes quite the ride on his lid. And they were side by side off of pit road. Here comes Jake Ray with the red top.
You're watching the premier American Open Wheel Series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
Nestled in the beautiful hills of Sparta, Kentucky lies the Kentucky Motor Speedway. Opened in 2000, it's hosted everything from ARCA to NASCAR's top 3 touring divisions and also the Verizon IndyCar Series. Its surface has aged like a fine wine that would be divine anytime. What started as a smooth as silk asphalt track has aged throughout the years to a bumpy surface that we have today, putting on a great show for fans and turning Kentucky Speedway into a driver favorite track for these DW12 cars. They have plenty of room to go 3 and even 4 wide if they are brave enough, and we're going to have all of the action live for you today in our flag-to-flag coverage of the Monster Worldwide 200. Round 4 in the Lionheart IndyCar season presented by First Medical Equipment. Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, filling in for Bill Soupzan. Joining me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. In the production truck, moving the sliders, cranking the knobs, making us sound twice as good as we really look, is Amjad Yaman, who is using cameras provided to us by Dougie Beard. Sean, these DW12 cars love the 1.5 mile speedways. Tell us what challenges these drivers will face today in Kentucky.
This is Sparta, Kentucky, that is. And we're here tonight, under the lights. The Lionheart boys are out on the track, heating it up. This track's actually been here for almost 16 years now. You talk about how that pavement out there, that asphalt has aged. It's a bumpy trip down the front straight. And, well, currently they're tearing that up and getting ready to resurface that track in real life here. That's actually going on as we speak. But let's talk about the track a little bit. 1.5 mile oval. We're going to do 133 laps tonight. We'll call it 200 miles, okay, for the sake of some good math there, Brian. 14 degrees of banking in the turns. All right, now you're going to have a tricky pit road to get onto. There's a couple of trains that thought here tonight it's 45 miles an hour at the cone. You're either going to come in right off of 4 or you're going to come in on the safety road off of 3. Got guys that are playing a little bit different strategy with that. Is it better to be safe or is it better to be quick? So we'll watch that. The qualifying lap record here, set by Richard Baer, 24.428 seconds, could fall tonight, Brian. 78 degrees on track, 78 degrees ambient temperature. Man, they're turning some wicked fast laps in practice, riding in the track. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Fastest in practice right now is a 24.587. Defending race winner Joe Hassert from Season 2. We weren't here last year. Joe looking to maybe take one away again tonight, make it 2 in a row here at Kentucky, but we'll see. Real quickly, though, we're going to get in the DW12 Global Sim Racing Channel car and take a ride around with our very own Brian Yazzie.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. My name is Brian Yazek and today we'll be going for a spin around the Kentucky Speedway in the GSRC DW12 IndyCar. For your hot lap around Kentucky, what you're going to be doing is finding the very bottom of the track in the corners. So you come across the start-finish line here, let it float up just a little bit, drive it right into the middle of the corner, aim for the apex, gas on, let it roll off. If this is the nighttime configuration, there'll be a bit more grip and you can hug that yellow line just a little better. Same in turns 3 and 4. Dive to the bottom, find the apex, let the car roll. If you get into it too much, you kind of push off the corner like I did right here. Also for Kentucky in these cars, do not get onto that yellow line. That really upsets these cars, and you're going to go for a spin. Throughout the race, you're going to see guys move all around this track. Kentucky is plenty wide enough to support 3, 4, 5 wide in the corners if these guys are brave enough. So you're going to see them all the way up here in this third groove, let it roll through the middle of the corner, gas up, and if you got a guy that you're chasing down in front of you and you take this top line, you're going to get a heck of a run on him and set up a great pass going into the first turn. Kentucky is sure to put on a great show just because of the wide track. It's a little bit bumpy, but hey, these cars can handle it. My name is Brian Yazek, and this was your spin around the Kentucky Speedway. I'll tell you what, getting that lap guide done, I'm pretty certain it shook out a filling or two sitting there in that DW12 car. Kentucky is very, very bumpy, but it does put on a great show. So with that being said, we're waiting to catch up to our pre-race interview, so we're going to jump right into the championship standings for you here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, where you got Big Joe Hassert on the top. He's got Jake Wright, 21 markers back off of him, with James Krahula sitting there in third, Jonathan Goke in fourth, and Tony Lurcock there in fifth. On to the team standings. There we go. No Name Racing up at the very top has a very large margin over Adrenaline Motor, Last Minute Motorsport. And Adrenaline Motorsports, they're in third. Team hashtag Nailed It there in fourth. And Dragonfly Racing rounding out the top 5 in the team standings. Sean, you've got the manufacturer standings.
Yeah, all those standings are great, but these are the ones we want to see, okay? This is what we're really here to talk about this week. Let's talk about what's going on in the manufacturer's standings, okay? Toyota's off to a really good jump here on the season, all right? They've got 343 points. Chevy knocking on the door with 109 now. They've still got great potential. I still like the bow tie. I still think it has a chance to take this championship. Honda lurking just behind there in third, and Mazda, the surprise of the season, honestly, to find them in fourth, a bit surprising with 160 points there. Still 183 back, but it's a long season. Dodge sitting there in the top 5. Dodge, big entry from Dodge this season, and they're sitting there in fifth. Well, then you've got the Blue Oval faltering a little bit down there in sixth, Brian, and Subaru making a pretty nice run. But I'm going to talk about the entry that me and my buddy Soup have got a little bit of money on this year, and well, we put our bets at the window on Yugo to get a top 5 finish in this championship, and I'll tell you what, they've moved up to 8th. So watch out for Team Yugo. They are coming on strong. Lexus in 9th, and Audi rounding out the top 10. Audi falling down the board as we've progressed here through the first 3 races, and but Yugo, again, on that strong run. You got to be happy with that.
You can never count out a good running Yugo right there, so it's not surprising to see them. I believe is this their first season in the Lionheart series?
It is officially. It's actually the first season that we're kind of having a little fun with the manufacturer standings. So yeah.
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So, for those of you out there who might be new to the Lionheart IndyCar Series, we're going to go over a little bit of a reminder for you of just what is making up these drivers today. You require an A-class license with an oval rating above 1,800 to register. All races are a fixed setup with 0 fast repairs, so really puts an emphasis on driving clean, driving hard, driving fast, and driving smart. We run with a 75% fuel capacity restriction. So if you're used to running the IndyCar Fixed Series on the open iRacing public races, you'll notice that the fuel window is just a little bit smaller here in the Lionheart Series. So Sean, let's talk about some things that we've got going on leading into our race here in Kentucky.
Well, let's talk about our sponsor real quick. Monster tonight, race brought to us by Monster World. At Monster, we work to bring humanity and opportunity to the job market to enhance lives, businesses, and communities around the world. Monster. All right, so that's our sponsor, but we've also got some onboard cameras tonight as we get qualifying started up. We're going to have the Big Joe show is back for the onboard camera. Big Joe Hasser. We're going to have Pierre Diver and the Lionheart MX-5 onboard camera. There's the Big Joe show. We're looking at him now. The Big Joe show. Defending race winner from season 2. Like I said, we weren't here last season, Brian, but we're here tonight, and there's the Big Joe show. And if Pierre's on track here, we can pick him up in the Lionheart MX-5 onboard camera. That's the Lionheart MX-5 challenge. Every I think it's every other Thursday night. You can catch it on the website. And so those will be representing our camera angles this evening on board. We'll be looking at them all night. Tell you what, last race, Brian, was crazy. Chaos marred the last race at Phoenix. 12 cautions flew there. I don't think we're going to see that tonight. We're going to get out and open them up here over 200 miles an hour pretty much the whole way around. And I think they're going to spread out a little bit. We got a little bit more track to work with here than we did at Phoenix.
Yeah, you get Phoenix is about a 2-lane track at best, and then you got Kentucky here where these guys can run 3, and I've seen them run 4 wide throughout the different public events and other things like that. So track has plenty of room. Do the drivers have that kind of fortitude to get out there? So moving on from last week, we're going to kind of touched on this a little bit in the standing, but Big Joe out to an early points lead. Do you think he can maintain this early season momentum that he's got going?
Tell you what, we've seen in the past when Joe gets hot, he's hard to stop. Now, we've seen a different Big Joe Hassert this season. We've seen patient Joe. I think we've seen him just kind of bide his time through the field and just take it easy and make the move when it's time to go. And I think that's been the biggest difference so far. So definitely good to keep our eyes on him. Hey, Vincent Blumenthal making his 50th career start tonight in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. He started the very first Lionheart race at Michigan back in July 3rd, 2014. So big night for Vince. We were supposed to have him in for a quick interview. I think we had some technical issues, but Vince, hope you have a great run tonight, buddy. We're pulling for you, man. Now, some information about tonight. Some things have changed up a bit. Now we do have Ian Adams going to serve an end-of-line penalty tonight due to a violation from Phoenix. He also lost out 5 championship points for that infraction. There's been some shakeup with the teams, Brian.
There absolutely has. Corey Connor is no longer with Team Nailed It and is now running as an independent entry. Team Nailed It will remain a 3-car team consisting of Ian Adams, Dan Guerin, and Michael Gray.
Yeah, and there was some shakeup over at No Chance Racing there as well. A little breakup there. So lots of action going on with the teams, but the past winners here at Kentucky are still active in the series. Tony Lurcock won this event in Season 1, and we talked about Joe winning here in Season 2. Joe's actually the all-time leader in laps here with 43, I think, and Tony Lurcock and Michael Gray have led some laps here as well. So look for an exciting one tonight. There's going to be lots going on the track, and 133 laps to get it done. I got to tell you, qualifying is in the books, and it looks like we're going to have a pretty fast field, Brian. They are really close.
Yeah, the thing to keep notice as you watch on screen, your top 10, about your top 12, 13, that's about separated by half a tenth. You don't really get much closer than that. But on your pole tonight, Dan Guerin with Tony Lurcock to his outside, defending series champion Jake Wright in 3rd. 4th goes to Joe Branch, 5th to Trevor Bissett, and 6th to Jason Robarge.
Okay, we'll go on to 7th with Ron Hacker on the inside of row 4. Brandon Limkeman sitting there in 8th on the outside of row 4. Nice qualifying effort for Brandon. Pierre Deigel sitting there in 9th on the on the inside of row 5. James Carula with another good qualifying effort today. On the outside of row 5, he'll start 10th, on to 11th. And we're looking at in 11th, Bob Mikas. Good qualifying effort for him. Absolutely dead heat with Chris Lanini. Actually, Krahula, Mikas, and Lanini all have matching times. In fact, put Tony Schowen in that group there. Schowen also 13th, Chris Gutierrez 14th, Tiger Connor 15th, Jason Galvin 16th, George Anzala will start 17th, Christopher 18th, Dylan Lee 19th, Drew Motson 20th.
21st will be Vincent Bluthenthal. 22nd, Jack Bogan. Patrick Taylor in 23rd. 24th, Robert O'Brother. 25th to Michael Grace. 26th to Christian Steele. 27th, Alfred Shepard, followed by Joe Flanagan there in 28th. 29th to Dean Helt. And 30th to Dave Barber.
And we got a pretty deep field tonight, Brian. And we're going to go, looks to be 30 strong here. Robert Bluen in 31st. Matthew Mercer, 32nd. Pete Edwins in 33rd. Big Joe Hassert starting 34th. Randy Krosno will start 35th. Jesse Benson will actually be in race control. And Ian Adams, taking at EOL, will start 37th.
I'm looking at Big Joe Hassert there starting 34th. If he's going to repeat and get himself up to the top step of the podium here in Kentucky, he's got a long way to get there. But fortunate for him, this is going to be a quick race here, or a nice long race. Hopefully he can work his way up from the back and kind of avoid the chaos as it will undoubtedly unfold.
Undoubtedly, Brian, and the lights are out on that pace car, brother. We're getting ready to crank this thing up.
Oh, I'm excited. This is the first time up in the booth for me for the Lionheart series, and I've been chomping at the bit to get here since I knew that they were on the Global Sim Racing channel. So I'm really pumped, and I'm hoping that everybody at home can pick up on that. So for the field is in the control of the Ford Mustang pace car. That's going to hit pit road here and give the control back over to Dan Guerin, who's waiting onto the loud pedal. Green flag in the air, gets a great start, but oh boy, such a good start, it caught me off guard. Tony Lurcock falls right in line in second and Jake Wright into third.
Man, I'm checking the back half of this field, just trying to make sure everybody's getting under a good start. So far, so good. Everybody keeping it clean and green back here.
Well, up front, we've got a battle for the lead between Lurcock and Guerin. Guerin took the low side down the backstretch with Lurcock sit up there on the top, but now he's got to fend off a challenge from Joe Branch. Branch following in the tire tracks of Dan Guerin through 1 and 2 this time. But Lurcock has the aero advantage up there. These DW12 cars are known for a wicked aero push around some of these speedways, and there you see the advantage. Move Lurcock back up to second, trying to find somewhere to run on this track that doesn't have dirty air around it.
George Anzalmo back here moving up through the field, working with his buddy Jason Galvin. Galvin in 14th, and Anzalmo up to 15th. Looking to the inside, there goes George. Jason up on the outside in the KGET DW12. George having a nice run down the backstretch into 3, getting a little company checking in there from Christopher. He's taking a run at it. These cars will suck up really quick, Brian. A lot of draft on this track.
That is the case. I'm keeping an eye on the lead right now. Dan Guerin is fending off all challenges from everybody behind him. Lurcock still sitting in second place. Now they're side by side for the lead. Is Lurcock going to be able to prevail from the top side? It doesn't look like it through turns 3 and 4, because now he's got Joe Branch down to the inside. Branch is going to pick up the draft from Guerin going to the front stretch, but maybe he rolled out of it there and let Lurcock back, but Lurcock jumping right back up to the top side. He's trying to make that second groove work. Guerin is trying to rim ride this track on the bottom side of it and just try to get everybody pinched off behind him so he can maintain his advantage, but it's not working. Lurcock is not that far behind. Jake Wright, he started up there. He's sitting back there in 5th. We know he's just kind of a snake in the weeds right now. He's just lurking, waiting to make his maneuver, getting through the field, but move Trevor Bissett up there to position number 3.
I'll tell you what, that strategy by Guerin is not sustainable at this track. He's going to have to get off that lower line at some point, start taking care of that car. Still, great battle going back here for 12th place, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Galvin having a nice fight with, as we go on board here real quick, with the Pierre Daigle MX-5 challenge camera here, and there he is, sitting right now in 12th place, working on 11th, just right up in front of him.
I'll tell you what, Sean.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what, we got 4 cars underneath the blanket now. Garrett trying to use the low line, but he's scrubbing off speed, trying to use it. That's just letting Lurcock sit right out there. He's been able to stay up right about that right rear tire this entire last lap. But now that's bringing everybody into it, because now there you see Bissett there in 4th, Branch in 5th. Move James Krahula up to position number 5, and that Silver Bullet back there. He's rim riding this thing.
Yes,
that's the old Harry Gant line.
James got that thing running high, wide, and handsome, baby. James in this for the long haul, taking care of that machine right now. Brian, that's a hornet's nest up here, and you know what? We're gonna hit lap 10 next time around. What?
There's 3 wide back there.
Yeah, there he is. Krahula split in the middle. Jake right to the inside.
Caution is out.
The yellow's out of the back of the field.
The 26 machine of Drew Motz.
Yeah,
he's hit the wall a good chunk.
Yeah, he already. It looks like he might have taken the toe to the pit. Let's pick it up on the replay there. Drew, off the turn. Was there contact? I didn't see contact. Did you see contact, Brian?
It was a quick camera angle. We're going to look at this again here on the GSRC replay. We're looking up from the blimp. This is going to be our best look at it. There you see rim trying to get down to the bottom. Oh, you know what? That car had a little wiggle to it, like it got squirrely for a split second. And then he had to chase it up the track, which whoever was running behind him there couldn't quite make that vehicle out. Whoever was running behind had to check up and react accordingly.
Yeah, I think I just picked that up. That was the 22 that was just behind him there. That was Robert O'Brother. Had to check up and gets a little bit of the left rear of Drew, and that kind of began. That was the beginning of the end, I think. Honestly, as kind of fast forward that he never really got back up the pace, and then he got hit again because he was checking up. There was another car behind him. That was Big Joe Hassert, actually. I don't know if we could pick that up on board. Maybe it's a little bit too late, but it was Big Joe Hassert with a little bit of contact there. And, he just started to lose it. Again, I just don't know if there was really any contact. It's so close, but I've looked at it at 4 different angles. Tough break for Motz, man. He's got a lot of repair, and he's going to be in there for a while. Because this is... no fast repairs here in the Lionheart series. So, yeah, he's going to be there for a while.
An interesting footnote up front, after about 9 laps on those tires, most of your leaders have stayed out. The first one to hit pit road would actually going to be Joe Branch. I believe he pitted from the 6th position, and then behind him there was a whole slew of cars. I'm kind of letting timing and scoring going to catch up, and we'll be able to update that here a little bit, but give a shout out to Big Joe, already up 10 positions, and once timing and scoring catches up, he stayed out as well, so he's going to gain a little bit more track position.
Yeah, I mentioned it when we were under green. George Gonzalo, also one of those guys that have managed to pick up a little bit of ground here and off to a nice start, and was working with Galvin, and they were starting to kind of march through the field. Leaders, that top 6, top 7 really weren't getting away too much. There was some really great racing going on behind them, and I have a feeling when we get this next green, buddy, we're going to get back to some more of that great racing.
Yeah, I think the field right now, they're kind of keeping an eye on Garrett. He's really pinching that car to stay at the bottom and try to take away take away a whole lot of surface from the track. These DW12 cars run a lot differently than you would like you would see in other NASCAR style series here on the Global Sim Racing Channel, where if you're watching this race in a B-class car, or an A-class car, or a C-class truck, you would see them come off a turn 4 and go straight up to that fence and run that fence all the way down the backstretch, whereas we're watching Garin really pinch it off and almost looks like he's just running qualifying lines going through there.
Yeah, and you know what? We were talking about George a moment ago. I noticed the lights are still on the pace car. I want to go back to George for just a second. George won the practice race on Monday night. Now, he couldn't run last night because he was working, But his son drew up a little picture for him and gave it to his dad, and that it was his little portrait he did of the old man there, and George put it on the nose cone of the car, and lo and behold, George pulls off victory there Monday night in the practice race, and so he's got that riding on board with him. That's a great little shot there. That's how I picture George. So that's I think that's pretty good. Good job, and yeah, good job there. I believe that was George Jr. that did that wonderful piece of artwork.
That's a pretty accurate representation of George. I think so.
Yeah, if you catch him on Facebook, that's not far off. That's pretty good.
The other part that made me chuckle about that was there was another little caption to it that I believe said "lose 100 I rating." So, George Jr. being very adept to how the public races sometimes work on the iRacing service. But the other thing you're going to notice, if you're maybe watching over from some of the more oval track or the NASCAR type races, single file restart here in the DW12 cars. So that's why I see everybody winding up right up there by the fence, because that way no one can get a run on you, because the only way to pass before the green flag is passing to the right. So if everybody runs the fence, nobody can get around you from the top side. So we'll keep that in mind as this one goes off. Mustang pace car hitting the pit road, giving the field back to Dan Guerin, who gets onto the loud pedal, wastes no time, opening up a 2 or 3 car length gap over Lurcock this time. But I know it's just going to be a matter of time before those guys are going to be able to catch right back up to the rear wing of Dan Guerin.
Bogan back here making a move on the outside. Oh, it's 3 wide coming out of 2. Battling just behind Anzaldo for 15th, 16th, 17th place. And
great battle on screen.
Yeah, baby. And it looks like Dylan Lee was the one to break free from that, the Fuzzies machine. But Jack Bogan just behind him. Jack on a run, looking to the inside. Jack's got it. There on the inside now. Got to remember, there's a pretty good draft here, so Dylan's picking it up off of George. And Jack slides back in position. 16th place. George Anzalo up there in 14th. Dylan Lee trying to make a move on him. Going into 1. Dylan already taking that thing up high. Yep.
Speaking of picking up where they left off, Tony Lurcock, Dan Guerin, Trevor Bissett, and James Krahula. You could throw a blanket over those 4 cars. They are all over the rear wing. Everybody's trying to get up there. You see Krahula running that really high, wide, and handsome line. Because up there, no one's running up there, so he's going to get the maximum downforce. And then you get a great run off that corner and pull up a draft on the guy that you're trying to run up to. So there you see him right there. Now he's going to move down, trying to look to the inside. Going to fall in line this time, going through 3 and 4, but still side by side is a battle for the lead between Guerin and Bissett. Bissett getting a nose up ahead. Is he going to lead this lap? Yes, he will. That will be a good move right there. Bissett now is in control of the field, so now he can be from the middle of the track, potentially pinch Guerin down just a little bit and squeak out ahead, but he has Tony Lurcock right behind him, Krahula right behind Lurcock. They're trying to make the outside work. Then you move down there and you see Jason Robarge in that beautifully colored car, sitting there now up to 4th place, and he's getting on the inside of Krahula.
And the battle is just behind them. You've got that battle of the top 7. I've got the battle of the rest back here. Ron Hacker hold down 8th place, trying to hold off Trevor Bissett. Great. Bob Mike is in that mix. There's the Tiger. Corey Connor is in the mix. Watch out, here he comes. Chris Stouffer's back there. Again, this is a great battle just behind that lead battle. Hacker trying to hold down the inside. Got Micus up top in the number 17 National Guard machine.
Now they're going to keep on this battle on screen. I'm keeping an eye up front, but right now give the position to Ron Hacker there through the bottom. Well, maybe not quite, but back up front there. See, back up front, you're still seeing this great battle here between these 3 guys. Krahula, Robarge, Linkman, there we go. They've fallen back a little bit, so now your top 3 are the ones that are battling it out for the lead. Right now, Dan Guerin and Trevor Bissett have been battling back and forth, basically trading the lead between the two of them. But right now, still is in the control. We got a car in the grass, according to somebody someone in the chat. Who was that? Was that the 48 machine?
Boy, I didn't catch it. I'll go back. I'll check on Robert Bluen. Maybe that was him.
Maybe it was Ian.
Might have been Michael Gray, actually. I'm seeing him fall off the time chart. In fact, looks like he's taking it into the pit. I'm not seeing him on screen right now.
Oh, back up front. Bissett was able to get clear and get Guerin behind him. Guerin used that draft off of turn 2 and slung it down to the inside. A little bit of a slingshot maneuver that these DW12 cars can pull off, and now they're right back side by side. And then you got Tony Lurcock sitting back there in the popcorn position, just waiting. Really, I mean, you can't push it 3 wide this early on. Maybe the guys won't push it 3 wide this early on. Maybe with 24 to go, you'll see him 3 wide for the lead. But maybe 24 laps into the race, I don't think that would be a wise maneuver to make it to the end of this one.
I want to give an update on the Big Joe Show. Maybe we can go on board with him just real quick. The Big Joe Show up to 18th place, started 34th. Have a nice run now. He did not go into the pits on that last stop. So he was kind of running there at the back, but he decided not to go in, picked up those positions, having a spirited battle right now with Vincent Blumenthal. Again, this is Vincent's 50th start tonight, battling side by side with Joe Hassett going across the line, on board with the Big Joe Show. Gotta love that shot. Thank you, Amjad the Great. That's a great angle. Coming down the backstretch, Joe looking pretty good so far in this race. Again, we're seeing that patient Joe Hassert. He's got Joe Branch working with him.
Yeah, that's credit for Joe. Big Joe keeping that one, keeping the nose on that car clean, especially starting as far back as he did. Just kind of riding right now. Still got plenty of time to go. We still got 107 left in this one. So back up front, it's like a big accordion up here. They stretch out and they get away, and then all of a sudden here they come snapping right back together. Enter James Krahula into that battle once again. He fell back off to about 4th or 5th previously, and now he's right back up there trying to run the low line right there with Guerin. And you've got Bissett and Lurcock both looking high, trying to make that top groove work. Krahula tries to follow him, but he's going to give up a position to Linkman. There we go.
Linkman. It's Brandon Linkman.
He's Smith now.
You'll get it.
We'll get there. Brandon trying to make it work, and there he goes. He's going to get by Krahula on the bottom, so move him up to position number 4, setting sights on the leader. But I will I'm going to give Dan a lot of credit. He's been running pretty much the same line from the drop of the green flag, and he's still making it work on the bottom side of the track.
I really don't know how, man. I've turned a lot of laps here, and I just don't know if that's sustainable for a long run, but we'll find out. Man, there is an incredible battle going on back here for 10th place. Robar's trying to hang on, but he can't. Stouffer on the inside. Here comes Pierre Deigel to the inside. Sneak it on in. Wow, Robar's leaving the door open just a little bit. Deigel tries to come in. There's Galvin on the outside getting into the picture. Look at this horde of cars back here, Brian.
That's certainly the case. Someone has let loose the Trojan horse around here in Sparta.
Yes, absolutely, man. The hounds are at the gate. I mean, they are just, there's Galvin making a move to the inside on Robarge. Robar's still keeping her up top, though, and he keeps getting a nice run up there, and he's taking care of those tires. But Galvin on the charge looks to take away that position. And it looks, for now, he has pulled it off.
For now. That's the key word.
For now,
in that
exactly.
Sentence. For now. Something else I want to point to your attention here. We have run 32 laps. They ran about 3 or 4 of them under caution. About 4 laps under caution. These guys that stayed out, they're going to be right on top of the fuel window here very, very quick. The general rule of thumb, if they can run about 38 green flag laps, then with the caution, you get about 2 green flag laps to 1 caution. So that would put them on pit road needed for fuel, probably within about the next 10 laps.
Actually, already seeing somebody come in. I believe Bob Mikas. Yeah, that's Mikas making his way into the pit. So Mikas, one of the first in that group that didn't pit, starting to come in.
Well, now he's going to be off running by himself, so maybe that's not a bad thing right now. I mean, tire fall off is not that terrible. They're only about 3 or 4 tenths off of their best times right now. 14 has announced he's going to hit pit road, but nobody else up here in the front has announced their pit plans just yet.
Well,
and as soon as I say that, Dan Guerin announces he's going to be hitting pit road this time by. With him running the bottom side of the track, that's going to push everybody up to the top, and that should.
Where's he going to go in? Where's he going to go in? Here at 3, or he's going all the way around. Guerin's going all the way around. He's going to come in off of 4.
Yeah, just as my camera caught it there, the 23 dove through the safety road there as well. That was getting on the binders there really quick, getting locked down into speed. That was who was in the 23? Dave Barber. He was the one. Oh, he's on track. Who would I see behind him?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Guerin had a really nice trip. Guerin, oh, there we go. Bissett's in. We're seeing that on camera. He decided to come down the safety road off the 3.
I'll have to see how that cycles out between Bissett and Guerin. Who got the better way through there? Who can make up the most time? I mean, exiting pit road, there's pretty much one way to do it. And now James Krahula saying he's going to hit pit road. Ron Hacker saying he's going to hit pit road. Peter Edmonds there. Jake Wright. Everybody hitting pit road.
It's time, baby. It's time. Let's get those fresh Firestones. And, James Krahula locking it up at the line.
Got to get down to
be okay, though.
45 miles an hour in a pit-limited vehicle. So that's the key to keep the eye on there. Now the other guy that I'm going to be keeping an eye on there is Joe Branch. Through the pit cycles right now. Oh, Brandon Limp. Oh, boy.
Limkeman, that's it. Brandon Limkeman coming off the pit lane.
Limkeman, there we go. Yeah, he took the safety road.
Okay, so we've still got several out here that have not taken a pit stop yet. Corey Connor, Old Tiger, going to move up there to the lead. Chris Stouffer in second.
I think both have said they're going to hit pit road. Lurcock saying he's going to hit pit road. Or exiting pit. I thought you just saw him on pit road. Whoa, man, that got tight right there.
Yes, sir. They were stacking up there at the pit entry. That was everybody else making their trip in. Old Tiger leading the way down. Galvin right behind him.
Right now, Stouffer is your leader, but I believe he did announce, and there he goes, slowing down. He's hitting pit road. That's going to move Joe Branch up to the lead. Now, Joe Branch was one of the about 10 drivers that hit pit road on that first caution. So these guys are going to be good for probably another 10 laps. So what you're hoping on this extended run is that maybe you can trap a couple guys a lap down and then kind of seal your fate for your own race.
Yeah, well, that is going to shuffle Joe up to the lead. And Chris Gutierrez, another one of those drivers that stayed out or took that early pit, now up to second. That reshuffles this whole field. And dare I say, if there's a caution flag right now, man, that's going to leave a lot of these guys hanging out high and dry.
Yeah, right now, Stouffer is the first car. Oh, no, not anymore. James Krahula is the first car one lap down. He got on and off pit road fantastic. There's Dan Guerin. Remember I said we were going to keep an eye on that. Guerin is ahead of... I'm trying to remember who we were up there with. I mean, it seems like the drivers that hit pit road aggressively, not taking that access road through 3 and 4, clearly have advanced themselves and moved Dan Guerin above James Krahula.
Yeah, well, Guerin having to pull off a nice move to do it. Those two are fighting. Both came in at the same time. Hearing something's going on with Christian Steele. Oh, Steele, Steele was another one of those guys that really came up, had a really good pit stop.
Taking advantage of getting on and off pit road. Some big time to be made up, and that's exactly how that's worked for Christian Steele.
We still have a couple of cars in the pit, still under repair. Ian Adams, who did start at the back of the field, he's been in there for 6 minutes now, and Drew Mott's that car pretty heavily damaged. I don't know if he'll be back with us this evening. I haven't seen him exit, but that car is still being repaired for now almost 19 minutes, Brian.
Yeah, that car was really bent up sitting there on pit road. So if it comes back, it's not going to come back happy, that's for sure. Still running out front, Joe Branch, Tony Shelton, Chris Gutierrez, Dean Helt, and Chris Lanini is your top 5.
Man, Christian Steele just passed Jake Wright like he was standing still. Jake Wright coming back, though, gets the run on him down into turn 3. There goes the champ. Getting a little bit of help there from behind. Corey Connor picking him up. Christian Steele getting hung up on the outside. Here comes Jason Galvin down to the mix. He's going to the inside. Christian, like I said, hung up top there. He's going to lose 3 positions in 1 lap. He was moving through the field and all of a sudden just dropped 3 spots.
I think he was trying to run that line out there by the fence, and everybody was way down by the yellow line, and they were just able to get around him going through those corners. I'm hearing Joe Branch is saying he's going to hit pit road. So a lot of these drivers that pitted under that first caution now hitting pit road. So that should cycle this back through and put Dan Guerin, James Krahula, and Tiger Connor as your top 3. Oh! Problem, Joe Branch gets real sideways coming onto pit. Got too aggressive on the braking. There's the other part of it that we talked about on the pre-race. Do you drive in aggressively? Do you take the safe bet? We're going to take a look here on the replay. He's just going to get down, trying to woe it down. Hits the banking there, transition. Then he realizes he's in trouble, has to let go, roll it. Oh, God, he's lucky to not hit that inside wall.
Yes, he is, man. He almost collected it. And
caution is out.
Oh, geez, I didn't catch it. What happened? Bob Mike is having trouble.
Was it the 81? Thought?
No, Bob's on pit road. Geez, I missed it. We'll try and pick it up here.
We'll find it. So, that'll shuffle things through kind of interesting.
Well, especially considering the fact you had a few guys here that just taking their pit stops. Yeah. Still trying to get a handle on what might have happened. I'm just not seeing it. Shawn was slow right there. I wonder why I don't see any damage on his car.
Gutierrez may have been the big benefactor of all that. He was on pit road when the caution came out. So I believe he's going to be scored our leader.
That's what I'm showing right now in my timing and scoring. Might slot Robert O'Brother there into second as well. That's what I've got on my board.
I have to see. I imagine there's going to be a good chunk of people that are going to try to wave around to the back here, but because there's a lot of cars that are pinned right at the tail end of the lead lap, stuck behind the pace car. That is, Tony Show and Dan Guerin, James Krahula, Joe Branch, Tiger Connor, Jake Wright, Jason Galvin, Christian Steele, Chris Stouffer, Brandon Link. Oh boy, I'm going to keep messing that name up all night.
Just stick with Brandon. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, Brandon in the 73 machine. He's sitting back there. Trevor Bissett, Jason Robarge, Tony Lurcock. I mean, basically everybody that pitted on or around lap 30, lap 35 is where these guys are going to shake out. So,
well, Brandon Lemkeman is certainly no stranger to the series. In fact, he's our man at First Medical Equipment, the official sponsor of the Lionheart IndyCar Series and our title sponsor for the entire 2016 season. Thank you, Brandon, and thanks to First Medical Equipment.
And putting on the presenting sponsorship of the season, allowing the Lionheart season to have another successful year. Great group of guys run this thing. And I swear, if registration, it's unfortunate that they're really not accepting any new members at the split second. Because when season opens up for season 5, everybody's going to think, well, I want to get in on this. These guys are a great organization. They put on a great show, as we're seeing here. And it doesn't seem like there's any egos. Everybody it's everybody working together for the greater good. So,
yeah, a lot of good hard racing and everybody's friends at the end of the day. Yeah, It's a great series, and these guys put on one whale of a show. Already doing it. It's hard to believe we've actually we're going to be talking about the halfway point here in just a few laps. We're still going to have one more lap to go as they get things sorted out here and get everybody back in place to get this race restarted. But real quickly, we talked about a lot of the stuff that's going on here and a little bit of the history about the track. Joe Hassert currently leading the championship by 21 points tonight. Joe, we talked about it. It's a lot of hard work to do from where he started, so got to keep an eye on that. But Hassert and Wright, Jake Wright, are the only two drivers to hold the top spot in the standings so far this season. So could be an opportunity for somebody to jump up and threaten those two tonight.
Could very well be, especially with how this is kind of shook out in the early part of this event. With all of your points leader, all you guys up there in the points, they're stuck in the middle of the pack. So I think everybody got the one to green here. So now you're going to see a whole bunch of cars wave around. Everybody's got to try to get caught up. So now that's going to, like I said, that's going to put Gutierrez and O'Brother, Crossno up front in your top three.
Well, they're going to get things reshuffled here, but, hearing from some guys that maybe there might have been a little bit of net code, and to our viewers out there on iRacing Live and the Global Sim Racing channel, I got to tell you real quick, let me give a quick description here of what we talk about when we say net code. It is a blanket term for anything that somehow relates to networking in online games. Net code is a term most commonly used by gamers when discussing synchronization issues between clients and servers. The actual elements of a game engine that can cause so-called netcode issues include, among other things, latency, lag compensation, or the lack thereof, simulation errors, and network issues between the client and server that are completely out of the game's hands. Netcode as a term tends to be used only in the gaming community, as it is not recognized as an actual computer science term. And there you go, Brandon, netcode.
Oh, that was a scientific explanation of that.
And I said Brandon. I'm sorry. I said Brandon. I had Brandon Lipkeman on my mind. I was busy talking about him.
Waved off the restart to let the wave around cars catch back up. Caused a little bit of chatter back and forth in the driver's channel. Randy Crossno getting a little upset about that lap being extended. So let's see here. So as things are going to shake out, Gutierrez, O'Brother, Schoen are going to be your top three on the freshest tires. And then you've got Dan Guerin there and James Krahula sitting in 4th and 5th. Randy Crossno in 6th. Joe Branch in 7th. Tiger Connor in 8th. Jake Wright, your defending series champion, in 9th and 10th to Jason Galvin. So it'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out, because now you've got a smorgasbord of strategy all throughout the field. And now we're going to see, because it's going to work out absolutely perfect for Gutierrez right now, but will he have the pace to be able to keep that machine up front from Bayou Racing, there we go.
Okay, so I think I figured out what happened with the caution. I think I figured it out. I could real quickly here. Oh, pace car's off.
Pace car's off. Gutierrez wasting no time, getting on the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. He's got a huge advantage over O'Brother and Schoen, has now moved Gutierrez way out front. He's got a whole clean track and fresh tires.
Interesting. They're still chatting about it on the radio as this race is back underway. Cars really stretched out all over this track. That single file restart really spreads them out quick.
It does, especially with the aero wash off of these cars. The draft is a good thing, then the aero wash off of the back is a bad thing. But I'll tell you what, it has not stopped that 22 of Robert O'Brother. He's caught right back up to Gutierrez, and he's trying to work that high line. O'Brother's in the gray car. Who's in there? Oh, that's messing me up then. Oh, okay, so that is a lap down car of Jack Bogan right there. Sorry, folks. Moose out front should have told you.
Yeah, Chris having a pretty nice run, enjoying the clean air up front. The caution flag came down to Randy Crosno making contact, getting into the pit. And his car spun around and went back just over the yellow line of the apron, bringing the caution flag out there. That's what brought it out. He was making his cycle pit stop.
Oh, there we go. So now
Yeah.
we've all learned what happened. So now the confusion won't be out there. And thank you to TP Bulldog 17 in our chat for pointing that out to us. Three wide there. Boy, move Krahula up to position number 3.
Corey Connor, here comes the Tiger in the mix. Gotta watch out for him, man. When he gets going, he's hard to stop. Guerin still holding it down there on the bottom of the track. Corey all over his deck. Watch out.
I just love watching these cars spread all the way out through the front stretch and the back stretch, and then they all find a nice little line there. Ooh, wow, that was a great move from Connor. Coming off of turn 2, he was able to pinch Dan just a little bit and maybe rob some aero from that car, was able to shoot around him going down the backstretch. Moved Connor up to 4th position. Ooh, who was that? Almost caught the fence back there. Was that Joe Branch? Oh, it was Stouffer in the number 7 machine. Got a little push off of turn 4 and almost fenced that thing coming off of the corner. Luckily for him, he was able to woe it back, and now he's moving back underneath the number 28 machine of Branch, trying to work the 6th position away from him.
Yeah, I don't think Stouffer caught any of the concrete. Car looks good. He's getting a nice run on Branch, but they're neck and neck. Coming across the line, Stouffer just going to edge him out. Dan Guerin starting to pull away just a bit. Just behind them, we got Robert O'Brother and then Jake Wright. Jake Wright's first trip to this track. So whereas he's been dominant just about every place we've ever seen him, tonight maybe just a little bit of a learning experience. But Jake getting a really nice run on O'Brother. Powering down to the inside across the line. Going to make a nice move into turn 1.
I will tell you,
Jake.
I'll tell you what, not going to take Jake long to figure out how to get around this joint. There's a reason he has the number 1 on that vehicle. So you know he's a heck of a wheelman behind that seat.
Yes, sir, indeed. And, man, this is a great battle. Lemkeman has got himself up to 10th, and Bissett following closely behind in 11th. And there's old Jason Galvin, Christian Steele battling it out for 12th and 13th. This is a really good 6-car battle up here.
Speaking of another battle, move Krahula trying to get through the bottom, working on Tony Schoen right there for the 2nd place. Schoen, that is. And move Schoen back up to the top side, making that top side work. I think he's picking up a little bit of draft from the lap car right there. But now coming off the corner, that's going to bite him just a little bit, because that's going to let Krahula try to get a run. Nope, Krahula lets off and tries to flip back the other way. Move Krahula back up to the top side of the track with Schoen. Oh, Schoen got very tight underneath the lap car.
Yes, he did. He got very tight under Jack Hogan. Had to get all the way out of it just to reel that puppy back in. He went wheel to wheel with Corey Connor heading into the turn. They almost made contact here. Oh! Corey Connor up into the wall. Oh, boy, Tony pinched him a little bit. Corey comes on the radio, let him know, hey, man, I was there. Ooh, Dan Guerin had to lift out of it.
They're still battling.
Oh, watch out. We got a little battle going on here.
Schoen and Connor back and forth on the speedway right now. That little battle didn't scare them off. They're still dedicated to it. I think Connor got a little bit squirrely off the low side of the track right there.
Yeah, and boy, that opens up the door for Stouffer. Stouffer taking it. There's Dan Guerin also.
Now Krahula has cleared the lap car. I will be interested to see if James can work his way up and get to the rear wing of Chris Gutierrez before he has to hit pit road for fuel.
Schoen went wheel to wheel with Jack Bogan as he got around him. Schoen making his charge up through the field. He's 3rd, trying to take 2nd from James Krahula.
trying, but right now, goodness gracious, I'm watching out back. Connor up there on the top side. Now the lap machine of Jack Bogan is almost like a moving chicane to these guys. He's trying to get out of the way, but the problem is that these guys are trying to run everywhere. Ooh, that got tight through there. 3 wide down the front stretch. We've got a lap car to the top side. Not the position that Connor probably wants to be in there. I think he wisely rolls out of the gas a little early just to let everything settle up, but that lets Joe Branch get down to the low side of him right there, coming out of turn 2.
They cannot get around Jack Bogan. They just can't do it. These cars cannot get around him. Jack's sitting up there up top, having a really nice run off of every corner, and they just can't seem to make up any ground on the low side on him right now.
No, he just, I mean, you can't really fault Bogan up there. He's just running his line. He's trying to be respectful and trying to stay out of everybody's way, but at the same time, he has a right to run up there.
Yeah, no, the cars look fine. I mean, Jack's putting on a pretty good show. He's fighting for position, man. I know the leaders are trying to get around him. Dan Guerin calling for the pit. It's time to bring it back in already.
Yeah,
this could be we could be short pitting here just a little bit.
He's got 37 laps on those tires and that tank of fuel. So, and now Pierre Daigle has announced he's going to hit pit road. Peter Edmonds is hitting pit road this time. I have a feeling you're not going to see guys try to take that safety road because you just see them get leapfrogged on the other side of things. So now I'm kind of paying attention up there to the 24 machine of Krahula. When is he going to make the dive to pit road? He's on 36 laps right now, but he's battling Tony Shallon.
Yeah, Krahula always, I talk about this every time. Krahula, one of those guys that'll keep it out to the very, very last drop, man, and won't give up that position until it's time. He will give up no position until it's time. Yes.
Give no quarter.
Yes, and but Gutierrez still holding down the fort up there in first. Stouffer taking second away from Krahula.
I was going to say, Stouffer just drove by the both of them. It made him look like he was standing still. Could be a slight difference in tires between those guys. No, they're all about the same strategy. That was an impressive move from Stouffer. He was able to get around Shallon and he was able to get around Krahula. Now Krahula battling back to the high side. But this is all happening in the rear view mirrors of Chris Gutierrez, who has still been able to maintain a gap. He's led the most laps. He's taken that away from Dan Guerin. Gutierrez playing that strategy call absolutely brilliantly.
Dan Guerin merging back onto the track with the leaders as they pass by him. Dan running side by side with Jake Wright now. After that cycle of pit stops, the number 8 finds himself sitting back in 29th spot.
The only thing I could think of for trying to stretch that out is maybe trying to even up the gap. Oh, no, there it goes. Krahula says he's going to hit pit road. The only thing I was thinking of was stretching that out is at the same time you're stretching out the fuel of the leader. So maybe you're cutting 2 laps out of it this run and 2 laps out of it the next run. So that way, as it gets down towards the end of this and everybody's trying to line up their final stops, maybe there won't be such a huge disadvantage. There's Christopher hitting pit road. Ooh, he hits the cone, locks on it. Krahula's behind him on the binders as well.
Man, I'll tell you what, the safety of coming off 3 is great, but man, you want to live dangerously and right on the edge, baby. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's no love for that cone sitting there on the entrance to pit road. It's been hit, abused, and beaten up about 3 or 4 times tonight by various drivers. But all of this, wow, I was just watching up front. All of this is happening behind Chris Gutierrez. You see going 3 wide. I think that was Big Joe up there to the top side. Yes, that was.
Yes, sir, it was.
Hopes to repeat for Big Joe, falling away a little bit as we're going to go on to the Big Joe on board. I mean, I think I saw some damage on the side of that machine. Sean, if he comes by, take a look at the right side. I thought I saw something bent in.
Yeah, not sure. I'm trying to pick it up, but we are on board with the Big Joe show. Joe got a little bit of work to do, man. He's 2 laps down as this thing cycles through, and he's sitting 27th place. So, with these, we are looking at some right side damage on that pod. That's not a good condition at this track.
No, especially any of these aero-sensitive tracks, and especially
Yeah.
1.5 miles, 2 miles. You get any kind of damage on that, and you're pretty much toast the rest of the race.
That is a tough break for Big Joe Hassert, but he won't give up. But something I was thinking about just before we started talking about Joe, with the way these pit stops are cycling around, and the fact that we are still under green flag conditions, man, anything could happen at this point. I mean, really, there's so many cars on track. It's hard to crunch the numbers on what everybody's doing, but there are several different strategies at play right now, and I don't know that we're really going to know what happens until the last 15 laps of this race.
I think you're right, but I'm just kind of crunching some numbers here, and I think regardless of when you pit, and this is going to drivers that were just on pit road, Kahula, Wright, Galton, Bissett, Daigle, Steele, from here on out, it's a one-stop show. We're coming to 50 laps to go right now. With the speaking about up front, nope, never mind. I thought I got confused on my red cars. Tony Shawan still sitting back there in second, but he's closing in on the rear wing of Gutierrez. But no matter which way you slice,
Gutierrez, the leader with contact.
Oh my goodness!
What a mess! Vincent Blumenthal going for a barrel roll through turn 2. Let's pick that up on the replay.
Contact between the leader sent him back up into the track, and Big Joe had nowhere to go. And then as they came down the track, did Guerin get a piece of that?
I think Dan Guerin might have got a piece of that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he got a big piece of that. He's the one that sent Blumenthal through and flipping upside down.
Now I'm checking in with Guerin. I don't see any damage on the car. Car looks good.
Oh.
Boy, that might have been the luckiest moment ever. Maybe we can go on board with him on the replay and see if he actually did make any contact. But Guerin, like I said, the car, I don't see any damage on the car. Here we are. We're on board with him here on the replay. There's Corey Connor to his left. They head across the line into 2. There's the traffic. He's making a move down the inside. He just missed it.
Oh, my goodness.
That was what we call hashtag pucker moment.
I would say if you're Dan Guerin, you're pitting now for 4 tires and a change of underwear.
Hashtag nailed it. Hashtag pucker moment. Yes, sir.
Anyways.
That was good. Thanks for capturing that one for us.
That was a beautiful moment. So how that affects everything. The only cars that were still left on the lead lap: Chris Gutierrez, Tony Shawan, Joe Branch, Robert O'Brother, Dean Helt, Dave Barber, Matthew Mercer, Robert. Oh man, now everything's moving around on me. Robert Bluini and Randy Crossnell. So those drivers are still right now. They were the only ones unaffected by that caution. But we're going to let everything cycle back around. We're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing Channel, and we will be back to the Monster World 200 at Kentucky. Welcome back to the Monster World 200 at Kentucky. The race is starting to wind down. 45 laps to go right now. When we get the green flag, it's going to be 44 laps to go. Nobody can stretch it on fuel to the end, and if they can, that's a very, very brave strategy. So we at least have one more pit stop lined up for these drivers before this race goes off of the air. So let's kind of reset things here a little bit. Gutierrez still is your leader. Schowen in second, Branch in third, O'Brother in fourth, and Dean Helt in fifth. With this restart looming, you're seeing everybody start to climb up to the top of the track. You don't want anybody to get a fun little run on you. Coming through the front stretch, Ford Mustang pace car looking to dive off, give the field back into the control of Chris Gutierrez. Here we go. He's waiting, getting everybody checked up a little bit. Back onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air, and now he's opened up about a 4 or 5 car length advantage over Tony Schowen. But we've seen Gutierrez, if he can get away, he can utilize that clean air and maintain that gap. But I'm looking behind Schowen. Joe Branch just all over the rear wing. Now he's making the move into second, going into turn 3. Is he going to have enough steam to clear him? Schowen hanging out on the high side. Gutierrez taking the defensive line. Oh, we got a spin out behind him. Another caution. Who is?
Oh, right there on the front stretch, on the inside, on the apron.
Is that
Robert
Dean Helt?
O'Brother having trouble. Brandon, I think Brandon got through that.
Oh.
Yeah, here and Dean Helt might have hit the apron. Trevor Bissett had to avoid that. He took an evasive move to the bottom. Got Alfred Shepard deciding to come into the pit.
And Helt drives it right to his pit stall through the access road through the front stretch, and now he's going to park that one. That thing is all out of whack. You see right there on screen, just caught the apron there, and that's what sent that car going squirrely. On board, we're going to go here with Bissett.
Trevor Bissett. Let's look at the view he had from his cockpit.
It's just going to happen really fast.
It's just like the team name, Controlled Chaos. Yeah.
Oh! Bissett didn't hit a thing! I think the front wing looked like it was a little out of whack, but yeah, he just lost it coming through the corner there. But he didn't hit anything.
Well, O'Brother, after having a nice run, is going to have to come in and get that front wing replaced. They'll replace that. The wing is beat up, but I don't see much else damage on the car. New wing is on. He's out.
Remember how I was just talking about it's a one-stop race from here? Take a look over there. James Krahula, Jake Wright, Pierre Deigel have all hit pit road this time. If you can save enough under caution, you might just be able to stretch this at the end of this. If you run it in high gear in the draft, if these guys work together, I think they're going to be golden for the end of this one.
Sixth gear definitely may come into play. Some of these drivers may decide to stay up in sixth. Now, the general thinking has been fifth gear, really the fastest way around on this fixed set. But sixth gear is not too bad, and you will definitely save just a little bit of fuel. So they may be making the smartest move of the race. Only a little bit of time will tell.
I'm thinking 38, 39 was about the outward window. We're at 41. A couple other guys just hit pit road. Trevor Bissett, Robert Blowen, they have both hit pit road. So now I think they're going to be a little bit better off by one lap by Krahula and Wright there. I mean, if it works, that's going to be the key. If this race runs to green, it is going to be an exciting finish at the end of this one. That is for sure.
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you what, we've got some fresh faces up towards the front. Not that there was anything wrong with the old faces, but, we may have some first-time interviews this evening. There were some guys up here in the mix battling for their first win in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. And, man, that's a lot to fight for. This has become a prestigious Wednesday night Series event. And, man, if you can get one of these, that's a heck of a trophy to put up on the mantle.
That would be. It's a great opportunity there to get up there. I mean, the race has worked out really, really interesting as it has progressed. So, I mean, we're taking a look at things. I don't know if anybody else, nobody else is hitting pit road. Are we going to get the one to go this time by? Yes, we are. So that's going to settle some things out up front. Gutierrez still your leader, followed by Branch and Showen, Barber in fourth, and Lanini in fifth.
And we'll take you back through the top 10 here. Matthew Mercer. Again, there's a name that we have not talked about much. Matthew Mercer having a quiet race. 6th place, up from 32nd. Krosno in 7th. Patrick Taylor in 8th. Christian Steele in 9th. Jason Galvin up to 10th. But those 4 cars right there all coming from outside the top 20 to find themselves in the top 10 in the closing part of this race.
Definitely played the game, gotten themselves in position to have a fighting chance at this. So you see Gutierrez weaving back and forth, get a little bit of heat into those Firestone tires, but that's looking to get the pace car off away from in front of him. Let's see how he plays his restart. Last time he brought him down a little slower or didn't go as early as maybe people were anticipating. Field starts to bunch up off of turn 4. Gutierrez onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. Gutierrez is going to pull off a great advantage coming through the tri-oval, working his way down into 1, but I have a feeling it's just going to be a matter of time before Joe Branch is all over the rear wing of Gutierrez's car.
Yes.
Oh, we got to spin out
back.
back.
Behind him. Christian
It's
Steele
Siegel.
spinning down to the inside. The yellow flag is not out yet.
No, he's spun down below. Oh, boy.
He's keeping it down there.
He's
out
taking
the
a
racing
tow.
line.
He took a tow. That was smart. That saved the caution from coming out.
He was on the radio communicating with race control. They were able to control that situation.
Oh, Gutierrez is falling way back. Joe Branch got around him, and then in the process of that, Tony Showen has gotten around him as well. So Gutierrez, from leading the most laps, back to 3rd position in the span of 1 lap. Branch, your new leader. Showen all over the rear wing, trying to make a move down to the inside on the backstretch. Who's going to prevail as they work their way through turns 3? Showen right now, give the advantage. Is Branch going to get a run from the high side? No, he's not. Showen is now your new leader.
Man, good racing going on here just behind them. You know, we talked about Matthew Mercer. He's battling with Dan Guerin, Jack Bogan now. And now Bogan still off pace in 29th place, but Bogan still a factor. These drivers are not having any luck getting around Jack. Jack had a little early race, bad luck, gets off cycle on the pit strategies, finds himself a couple laps down, but again, he's just as racy as anybody else, and it's just really tough to get around. And Dan Guerin, though, making his way up through the field, I think that just got him up to 7th place. So Guerin having a good run.
Another good run. Move Joe Branch back up to the lead. He got a great run on the inside of Tony Showen, working his way through turns 3 and 4. Showen looking to battle back on the high side, trying to make that work. Just not gonna, but now the draft is going to come into play. Showen working up all the way to the rear bumper. Going to take it high into turns 3 and 4. Trying to keep the air on the front nose of that car. Create maximum downforce. Trying to get a run off of turn 4. Not quite working. Still leaving him up to the high side of the speedway. Still Joe Branch, your leader. Gutierrez now in the popcorn position. Sitting back there in 3rd. Waiting, looking and seeing. Move Showen back down to the inside. He got a great run in 2. Showen is your new leader as they work their way through turns 3 and 4.
Great battle, man. And now we have really getting into some tense moments in this race. I cannot believe this battle that's going on and sustaining here through the laps. We've got 8 cars all just bunched up, fighting, crossing each other crossing each over every lap. I couldn't get that out smoothly. I don't know why. But just a wonderful piece of racing going on. Dan Guerin able to stay out front, and he's got some work to do. Poor Dan got mixed up in some trouble, and he's a lap down, but he's leading the charge of that group. Just behind them, Tony Lurcock holding down 11th place, and Patrick Taylor in that group, Joe Flanagan, Pete Edwards, Dylan Lee, George Anzalo, that group on the move. George holding down 15th place. He's making a move right now. And a good one on Dylan Lee. Those two fought a couple times tonight. Pete Edwards with a great seat watching from behind.
Just watching that battle out the front of that machine. Just keeping an eye on things. Still everything up front. Still just the same. We can keep looking at this. We'll jump around. Why not? Tony Shalin, still your leader. Branch trying to make that high line work out of 2. He can get right up to the rear wing, but he just can't quite make the maneuver. Going into turn 3, like Shalin was able to pull on him to retake the lead away from Joe Branch. Gutierrez is starting to fall back off of this just a little bit, about a 1/10.5 slower per lap. Maybe the tires are starting to burn off of that machine. Maybe try to run the low line a little bit too much, but whatever the case may be, he is still sitting back there. Now, I want to point something back into the back of the pack. Jake Wright, James Krahula, Trevor Bissell. These are drivers that all hit pit road on that last caution flag. Dylan Lee hitting pit road that time by right in front of him. Right now, these guys are just riding. There's no sense in racing anybody around them. They're playing a whole different game. They're trying to make the end of this on fuel right from about 40 laps to go. They need a lot of help. They need a lot of draft, and they need to run that thing in 6th gear and hope for the best. But if it works, it is a brilliant strategy call.
Well, you know what? Hey, we haven't talked about this driver in a bit. Looking at Pierre Diamond, now he is starting to move up through the field because guys are starting to pit behind him. We go on board with the Lionheart MX-5 Challenge camera. Riding on board with Pierre Diamond, no name race. Okay, now Pierre has got himself up to 20th place. All right, now I believe he's good to the end. Okay, he's one of those guys working on that strategy. Now, the thing is I believe he came in on that last stop. I'm showing he's been in 4 times. So Pierre working with a little bit fresher equipment, and several of these drivers ahead of him are going to probably have to come in, and he's going to just pick up some more spots, able to probably salvage a pretty good run tonight after, just getting caught up in the mix back there and getting shuffled back through the field after starting off 9th.
Gutierrez has announced he's going to hit pit road, playing his final card the best that he can, diving to pit road. Caution is out! Oh, no!
Oh.
There goes the
He's
strategy
already
for
committed.
Krahula, right, Deigel. Who is it the 80 machine? Oh, Jack Bogan is upside down in the turn 3 infield. We go on to the replay here. Oh my! Whole bunch of guys caught up in that one.
Oh, contact. It was contact between Corey Connor and Jack Bogan. Wow. Jake Wright just behind that. Able to avoid it.
Wow, Wright got lucky both senses. The car
James,
was able to.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
He was able to dodge the cars in front of him, and then I believe that was. I'm trying to get caught back up here, but whoever spun down to the inside almost clipped him going that way. So Wright got lucky both ways there. Krahula also got lucky being right involved in that.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Is Krahula was right there, and he is so lucky. And now the car behind, the car that was behind Jake there. Okay, that was the Trevor Bissett machine. He's the one who went down and flew and took out the inside wall. That's going to end his night because that car is all twisted up, nose totally knocked off, suspension all out of place. Every corner of that car is bent up and done for the evening. Trevor Bissett was having a decent run and had it taken away from him, but a late caution in what's been a really solid, fine race starts to shuffle things back around again. And as a good friend of ours says from time to time, the cream is rising to the top, sir.
That it most certainly is. Really, I mean, as I'm kind of looking around here, Chris Lanini has stayed out. I don't think he's going to, there's no way he's making it to the end here. Tony Schowen, nope, they stayed, all right, staying out. Patrick Taylor, and then really playing the only card that they can would be Jake Wright, James Grahula, Robert Bluen, and Pierre Deigel. They've all stayed out on track. It's really the only card they have left to play at this point in the race. I mean, going down pit road is most certainly going to trap you all the way back there at the back end of the top 15.
Well, how about the run Patrick Taylor's had tonight? I'll tell you what, man, not too shabby for a car that started in 23rd. Taylor representing the great country of Canada, Dragonfly Racing in the Dodge. Dodge having another good run tonight. And Patrick Taylor, the man behind the wheel, finds himself up in second place to restart this race. Not a bad place to be when you've only got 20 to go.
Most certainly not. Then at least you got to sniff at it up there. You never know what can happen in these races. However crazy it can get, you can find your way up to a good finish. So I'll tell you what, this has been a great race. You guys are cool getting to do this every single week.
Yes, sir, man. It's a blast, and it's always exciting, and it's always unpredictable. And I think we're going to get another one of those unpredictables finishes again this evening as we see him go around here, and Light's still on the pace car. But man, we are hitting that point of the race that is my favorite time of the night. Every night there's a race on. It's go time, baby. It's time to boogie.
That pay window is just getting ready to open up for these drivers. We are on 21 to go right now. We're assuming the field is going to get 1 to go this time by. And then it's on from there.
Yes, sir. It will be on. And lots of cars to watch because, listen, I was talking about Pierre Deigel. Now, he finds himself in 6th on this restart. Pierre's been waiting this whole race to make a move. I know he's just, he's chomping at the bit right now, okay? He's got his nervous little fingers just clutched into that wheel. And probably got a bowl of poutine waiting on the table. He wants to wrap this thing up and get a top 3 finish, get himself on the podium, and have a great points night. He's in a pretty good spot to get it done from.
That he is. You can sniff it from there. The thing I'm kind of concerned about here is Chris Lanini and Patrick Taylor have both stayed out. They are, in point of reference, Jake Wright and James Grahula have 23 and 21 laps on their fuel. Lanini and Taylor have 29 and 27. So if the way I would be seeing it, if Wright and Grahula were right on the edge of the window, I don't think there's any way Lanini and Taylor can make it. So I guess running as far as it'll go and maybe hope for a late race caution that everybody will dive to pit road. I have a feeling that's probably the only strategy play that these guys have. So there's only one way to find out what this is going to happen. 20 to go this time. We're going to come to 19 to go. Field is in Lanini's hands. He is going to get onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air for Chris Lanini. He's going to pull a 4-car length advantage over Taylor. Right, our defending series champion, just off of his rear fin. Right now, all over the rear of Patrick Taylor. Not wasting any time. You have to make hay while the sun is out in this night race. But right now, Wright trying to make the inside work. Taylor's pinching just a little bit, not that much. There's that very bottom groove, really slippery. You've seen it fight some really nice drivers.
Corey Connor diving into the pits. Jason Galvin is the man on the move right now. Galvin has picked up 6 positions on that restart, making his way past Dylan Lee, who's a lap down or a lap car. But here comes Galvin. Up to 7th.
Galvin right now, he is the highest running driver on fresh tires. Tire wear might not be a huge factor, but I'll tell you what, if you've got 3 or 4 tenths in your pocket, that's a good thing to have coming down to the end of this run. Got 17 to go. Lanini still leading. Wright now in second. Wright is off, trying to set sail to Lanini, with Taylor right off of the rear bumper. Krahula in fourth, Blauen in fifth. And then Pierre Deigel just hanging out back there in sixth. No pressure though, with Joe Branch sitting back there. They're going to try to go 3 wide. Tony Schowen to the high side of the speedway. Not going to quite make it work though. But Galvin just there. He's lurking. Got those fresh tires with him and Branch. Right now they're battling side by side.
Galvin gets the advantage as they come across the stripe here. Man, I'll tell you what a race between those three. Good battle just behind them. We've got Brandon Limkeman. He is battling side by side with Randy Crosno right now. I'm sorry, he's battling side by side with Dylan Lee, who is a lap down. Up to Krahula in third position. There's a fight, Brian.
It's working out right now. Wright and Krahula both are tasked with trying to chase down Chris Lanini. To quote our very good friend Bill Soups on, right now, Wright and Krahula, it's basically they're on a mission right now. They're trying to milk a rooster. The hard part is going to be what happens when you catch them, but they are gaining little by little. But how hard do you think they have to press? Do you think they're just racing it out between themselves? Because I don't think there's any way Lanini can make it on fuel for me.
We're about to find out. Just over 12 laps left. Can Lanini hang on and take a victory here?
I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell. You've got the defending series champion breathing down your neck. That gap has closed 2 tenths this lap alone. And even a tenth and a half faster on the clocks for Wright. Krahula just off his rear fin, hanging out back there in the popcorn position. Maybe trying to save a little bit for the end of this. Not trying to get up there and put any pressure on Wright or Lanini. Maybe just sitting there and riding. That could be the strategy play. Galvin has not advanced any other position. He's sitting there in 7th. As soon as I say that, Krahula dives down to the bottom, trying to get on the inside of Wright.
He does, and he gets past. Now is Wright going to cross him over here? Here he comes. Wright crossing him over.
Oh, there's that dreaded arrow push off the corner. Wright back down to the inside. Move Wright up to the 2nd position. Krahula falls back to 3rd. Going to try to get that good head of steam off of the high side, and he will. Draws even with Wright as they work their way to the start-finish line. 10 laps to go this time by in the Monster World 200. Right now, move Krahula to P2, trying to block, take the air off of the nose, off of Wright, but I don't know if he's going to quite get away. Wright tucked up right there behind him, just pulling a draft down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4 this time. Is Krahula going to go up there and try to give Lanini a fit? How is Taylor going to fall into this? He's running back there in the 4th position. Right now, he's about 7 tenths off the rear bumper of Jake Wright. But if everybody gets tangled up in front of him, it will waste no time for everybody back there. Taylor, Deigel, Galvin, everybody's going to be able to get back up there as this race reaches its conclusion. The other thing I'm keeping an eye on, how much fuel is left in the tank of Lanini. Right now, by every stretch of the imagination, he should be out of fuel, but he is still making that car work. He's going to try to make it really nice and wide. The only thing that I could think of is iRacing does not do any kind of green-white checker, so once we get to about 5 to go, if a caution comes out, this race is over, and then he can coast from there. But I'll tell you what, that is a big gamble, hoping for a caution at the end of this one.
Tony Schowen, the man on the charge, he has picked up a couple of positions, now finds himself in 8th place. Moving just under Corey Connor there, who is now obviously not in this race, but Schowen making a move on the field in front of him. Here he comes. Watch out, Joe Branch.
Schowen trying to make it work back up front. 3 cars underneath the blanket. Lanini, Krahula, Wright. Your winner is going to come from one of these 3 drivers up here. Krahula trying everything he can to get around the machine of Lanini. Trying to go to the bottom this time. Here he goes, diving to the bottom in 3 and 4. Is he going to be able to clear him through the corner? No. Lanini's going to get a great run from the high side and fight back. Where is Wright going to play it? He's going to stay up high and pick up the draft off the back of Lanini. Right now, Krahula all by himself down there on the bottom of the track, but he's going to be able to get the advantage through 1 and 2. Now, he's going to drift up and probably give a draft advantage to Lanini, but Lanini can't go anywhere because Wright is on the inside of him. Krahula, your leader, 5 laps to go this time, 4 laps to go this time by. Now, we are in that window. This race is going to be over with whatever caution flag, or whatever flag ends this one. Lanini announces he's going to hit pit road.
He's coming in.
Oh, he's got to give up a podium position. Oh, just gutted for Chris Lanini. He was trying to get to the end of that one on a caution flag, but it just fell 3 laps short for him, unfortunately. Now you see him on the pit road. Got to give up a podium. Oh, I feel gutted for the driver of that number 92 Dragonfly Racing machine, but back up front. 3 laps to go.
That's going to slot Pierre Teigl into 3rd. Look at Pierre restarted in 6th.
He's making it work right now. Coming to 2 laps to go. Your leader, James Krahula, working his way through 3 and 4. Down the front stretch. He has your defending series champion all over his rear wing. This is the moment right here where you have to sit on the hot stove and sweat ice water. Does Krahula have ice water in his veins? Is he going to be able to hold off? Right, down the backstretch this time, maintaining about a 3-car length gap through 3 and 4. Second to final time, Krahula still maintaining a gap. Caution is out. Krahula wins.
Caution's out. Oh, Galvin makes contact with Showen. I don't think that's what brought it out, but that's the caution had just come out. But Galvin, who was
Garen's a part of that.
Wow. Let's pick it up on the GSRC replay. We're going to catch Galvin. Oh, Galvin gets loose right there. Maybe a little net code, maybe a little contact. Wow, and the white flag had just come out. Oh, jeez. What a breathtaking finish to this race that was.
Yeah. I'm gutted for Lanini. If he was somehow able to stretch another lap out of that one, he could have had it, or at least had more of a fighting shot at it. But field working their way behind the Ford Mustang pace car, lining up 3 wide as a salute here. But it's not going to matter. It's going to finish under caution. James Krahula is going to come to the line underneath the checkered and the yellow flag and win the Monster World 200 at Kentucky Motor Speedway.
What a race. James Krahula gets away with one tonight. Chris Lanini, hard luck for him. I'm gutted for Galvin right now. Really, man, he had a top 5 locked in there and couldn't seal the deal. Tough break, man. Tough break, tough finish for him. But boy, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have to. My hats off to Pierre Teigl. What a drive! Manages to put that car on the podium and pretty much did it effortlessly. Stayed out of trouble the whole race and finds himself for that effort on the podium. Great run for him. And hey, guess who was in the mix? The champ, Jake Wright, on the podium. No stranger there, so
no, I
can't wait to talk to these guys.
I think that's going to give him the championship lead, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
With Big Joe having his troubles and finishing 32nd.
Not a great night for the Big Joe show, but yeah, going to be a good night for Jake in the championship hunt. But like I said, I can't wait to talk to these guys when we get back from break.
Absolutely. We're going to go to break. You're watching James Krahula and Jake Wright and Pierre Teigl all making the donuts on the front stretch. So we're going to send you off with that. We'll be back with a full field rundown and post-race interviews of the Monster World 200. James Krahula, once again, your winner. We will be back. Welcome back to the Monster World 200 post race here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Saw a thrilling race today at the Kentucky Speedway. James Krahula emerging as your victor under the caution flag and the checkered at the same time. So, without further ado, let's tell you how the rest of the field finished in our full field rundown here. Jake Wright finishing second, Pierre Deigel third. We're talking to those guys here in a minute. Joe Branch fourth, Tony Schowen in fifth, Jason Robarge into sixth, and then Brandon Limkeman there in seventh. Eighth to Robert Blau, and ninth to Randy Crossnow, and 10th to Matthew Mercer.
A strong run for Matthew Mercer tonight there, getting a top 10. And then we go down to 11th, Joe Flanagan. George Anzalo manages a 12th place finish. Not a bad run for George. I know he was hoping for better, but that's a good one. 13th for Tony Larcock. Robert O'Brother winds up 14th. Chris Gutierrez, after leading many laps in this race, will settle for 15th. 16th goes to Jason Galvin after getting involved in that last caution. Tough break for Jason. Then we go a lap down to Dylan Lee in 17th. Ron Hacker, 18th. Chris Lanini, after having to take that pit stop, that'll put him a lap down back to 19th. And Patrick Taylor going to round out the top 20.
21st to Dave Barber, followed by Dan Guerin, our pole sitter, in 22nd. 23rd to Alfred Shepard. 24th to Chris Stouffer. Peter Edwins rounding out in 25th. 26th to Tiger Connor. 27th to Trevor Bissett. Jack Bogan finishing 28th. 29th to Christian Steele. And 30th to Dean Helt.
Okay, and we'll close it out here. Vincent Blumenthal, 31st place. Tough night for the Big Joe Show. 32nd, 33rd to Bob Mikas. Ian Adams, boy, he just never really got started in this thing. 34th. Michael Gray, another one who had early trouble. 35th. And the 36-car field finishes with Drew Motz. 125 laps down. 36th place to Drew. Not a good night for him.
No, not but drivers that did have a better night as the race progressed on. We're going to catch up to our third place finisher, Pierre Deigel. Pierre, good job finishing up there into the third position. I mean, I have a feeling that you and James and Jake were all on that same strategy, pitting with about 40 to go. Were you hoping that thing ran green to the end?
Yeah, we were, and that call is all on James, which I want to thank on the broadcast here. He made an awesome call with that second to last caution. He told us, if we pit now, if we get one more caution, we can make it. And that's exactly what we did, and everything fell into our lap, and we got to the end with a 1-2-3 finish for No Name.
It's a great finish for you guys today. I mean, the track, we had a night race tonight. Temps were a little low, but I'll tell you what, that track looked a whole lot of bumpy from up here in the booth. How was it in the cockpit of this machine?
It was really bumpy. It's Kentucky is a special place just for that reason. There's a lot of bumps, and it's really not my best track. I probably would have had maybe a top 15 car had it not been for that strategy call. But yeah, it's a special track, but it's probably my favorite of the cookie cutters.
Well, that's good. Good finish, puts you up there, trying to get the season going in a good forward. Getting going forward. You've gotten actually going pretty good here. Moved up 4 places in the points to 4th. Now you can sniff the lead here. How do you think the rest of the season is going to work out for you in terms of trying to chase down this championship?
Personally, I don't think there's so many good guys in this league, like Jake and those guys. Those guys are fantastic. I don't think I have anything for them at the end of the 22 race schedule, but I'm going to be looking to stay up there. Hopefully, get some good finishes on the ovals, get some good finishes on the road, and keep moving forward.
Sounds like a great strategy. And you remember, Pierre, it's racing. Anything can happen, as we witnessed tonight. So don't be counting yourself out of it just yet.
Oh, absolutely. If Alan Kulwicki can win a NASCAR championship with his own team, anything can happen.
You got it. Pierre, any final thoughts before we let you go and celebrate your podium finish tonight?
Well, once again, I want to thank my teammate, Jake Wright, Joe Hassard, and James Krahula once again. Great call by James tonight. I want to thank Monster Energy, my sponsor, and that's about it.
All right, that was the voice of Pierre Deigel, finishing in the third place position. Sean, you have caught up with Jake Wright, who rounded out the podium in second position.
The champ is here. What's up, Jake? How you doing, buddy? That was a pretty good run tonight.
That was one of the most fun racing I've had in this league in a long time.
Yeah, it looked like you were having a pretty good time out there. What made it so fun for you tonight?
Well, normally
Aside from the obvious.
normally I'm not a fan of these pack racing tracks, but just the roller coaster this race was, starting up front to dropping pretty close to dead last. It was just all in all very fun.
Yeah, there was a point there in the race where we really wondered how this thing was going to shake out. The board was upside down. We had a lot of new faces up top, and we just didn't really know if you guys were going to be able to get back to them if things had continued the way they were. And we got those couple of late cautions, and then that kind of brought everything back to where we ended up. And that's with you on a podium, and another good points night puts you, sir, back in the lead of the championship. Got to feel good about that.
Yeah, it feels good to be back up here, but I know James is right there, 1 point behind, so I have a feeling these next few races will be battling it out.
I think so. And let's talk about that next race. You ready? I mean, I think we take next week off, right? Is that correct?
Yes, we take next week off.
That's right. We're off next week, so you get a chance to obviously get a lot of seat time. What do you think about your chances next?
If I'm not mistaken, we're heading to Pocono, which obviously I'm a fan of, but hopefully, I mean, I like the track. I do okay there, but I'm hoping I can recreate last season's race.
Yeah, Pocono, a really tricky track. Obviously, it's got they call it the tricky triangle for a reason. I'm gonna ask a little strategy right now. You shift a lot on that track. Do you find yourself working the gearbox?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my big question for the night. But Jake, I got to tell you, man, it's always impressive every time you're out. We talked about this being your first time. That's obviously wasn't your first time on the track, but the first time to race for a checkered flag when the money was on the line. And you know what? It didn't work out too bad for you.
Not at all. Tonight was a great night, and again, I think Pierre said it well. James was the mastermind behind the plan, so we can't thank him enough.
Well, Jake, we congratulate you. That is driver of the number one, last season's champion, Jake Wright. Good to talk to him, but I'll tell you what, I believe Brian has caught up with James Carhula down there in Monster World Victory Lane, and I think maybe it's time to bring him in and chat with him.
Yes, it is, and I also want to warn viewers that might have headphones in or dogs in the room. James can get kind of loud here in Monster World Victory Lane. James, I'll tell you what, that was a bold strategy, pitting there right on the very fringe edge of the fuel window. What was the thought going into that one?
Well, just for that, Brian, I'm going to be very mellow and even toned tonight. No, I'm excited. I mean, just kind of going off a pre-race strategy when we knew how much we could do on fuel, you could save a lot in these cars under yellow. So I knew that we were probably pretty good even if it did go green to the end. But especially if we had a yellow, then we were fantastic, and we knew that everyone else was going to have to pit regardless. So I figure worst case scenario is, we had to pit with them, which we were already in the backtrap to lap down because of the earlier pit calls, and it wound up working out to where we're able to get up there. So that was completely unexpected, but I'm glad that the strategy worked out in our favor.
That absolutely did. As the race progressed, it seemed like, with those cautions, it seemed to bite you at the wrong time. I mean, if we were able to rewind about an hour ago, you think you'd be sitting here in victory lane.
No, definitely not. And these races are so hard to get that you just have to, you take them any way you can get them. You have to try and be smarter than all these guys. And even though that we were having to, we had a better strategy, we still had to race for it and everything too. So it was, there's so many things you have to be on your game completely here every single time you come and race in this series. And I mean, that's what makes it so challenging, and what makes these wins, honestly, mean as much as they do, because you have to beat a lot of really good drivers, and you don't get to do that very often.
That's true. Now, with your victory, you now are second in points, 1 point off of Jake Wright. Do you think you can bring the championship down away from Jake and drive off into the sunset with the car number 1 next year? I mean, how you looking at the rest of your season here?
I'm not driving away from Jake, that's for sure. But hopefully we can keep up with them. With more road courses this year, I'm gonna have to definitely step my game up there. And still, I need to work on my qualifying as well. It's been I'm not at the level where I can compete with Jake quite yet. So I snuck one on him tonight, but it's gonna be a lot. But I mean, I've been having a lot of fun. I also need to thank real quick, Unacceptable Racing for letting me come over here and play IndyCar, and then also for No Name Racing picking me up and allowing me to race with them. The fact that we are 1, 2, 3, 4 in the point standings right now, and obviously leading the team standings as well, really means a lot. I have some great teammates in Jake, Pierre, and Joe, and I've been having a lot of fun over here. It's a fantastic league. The admins on over here are top notch. Drivers are top notch. The racing's fantastic out here. Everything is just it's so much fun. I definitely cherish every single win that I get a chance and to come out here, and honestly every single good finish and everything as well, because it definitely means a lot out here.
Absolutely. Now, not next week, but the week after, we head off to Pocono, the Tricky Triangle up there in Pennsylvania. How do you think your chances are sitting there for maybe a back-to-back trip to Pocono victory lane?
Well, Pocono, it's such a great race, and I love these Triple Crown races. I love that we do some longer distances, and I always really look forward to when those come out on the schedule. Sadly, my races didn't go too well last year in the Triple Crown races, so I'm hoping that they go a lot better, this time around. So, I'm gonna, before I hand the mic back over to you, Brian. First off, normally, whenever I celebrate a victory, thanks to George, I always pop open a beer because I'm not nearly as classy as him with his champagne. Well, I don't have beer tonight, but George, I got a box of Cheez-Its. That's about as best as I got, so I'm going to go celebrate with those since I don't have any alcohol here. And also, we're thinking of Soup, that he's not out here tonight, but I had my favorite driving movie ready to go, and so I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know that definitely Grand Prix is definitely my favorite, but a little sly, a nod over to Deshaun. Stroker Ace is definitely second, so give the little Clyde Torkel Chicken Pit little shout out there.
Yes, sir. Put him in the wall. Put him in the wall.
But yeah, thanks guys. Go buy some Advocare. You can contact me through jamesduckrahula@gmail.com and order some Spark. It's some good stuff. It's definitely what I was on tonight. And now with the adrenaline, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight, but that's okay. We got a victory out here tonight. It's fantastic. Thank you guys for the broadcast, and can't wait to go back and watch it as always.
Sounds great, James. We will see you up on the road down in Pocono, and you're on some other stuff here on GSRC, so we'll see you. We'll see you then too.
Yeah, I hang out with you guys a lot, but it's a lot of fun. So hopefully the viewers ain't tired of me yet.
Oh, no, I think we all still like you, a little bit at least. All right. That was the voice of James Krahula, our victor, snatching victory away with a late race strategy call. Big gamble, but I'll tell you what, Sean, it paid off in spades for him. Is able to steal the victory away and set himself up really good here for the next part of the season.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, I'm excited about getting to Pocono. I'm a little sad that we're actually taking the week off. It's going to be a great race. It's going to be grueling, too. It's just Pocono's such a grind. It's so much different than anything we've done so far this season. Like you heard Jake talk about, he's going to be working not only the throttle, but he's going to be working working the gearbox on that car at Pocono. There's a lot of ways around, but there's only really one fast way, and we'll see who has the skill there. But real quickly, before we get out of here tonight, I do want to thank Brandon Lemkeman and all the people over at First Medical Equipment. They offer durable medical equipment sales, rental, and service. Also home modifications such as stair lifts and ramps, power wheelchairs and scooters, lift chairs, CPAP, oxygen. You need it, they got it. They service the southeast corner of Iowa and surrounding counties. For more details, you can visit them at firstmedicalequipment.com. Brian, Monster put on a great show for us tonight. We can't go without thanking them either. Monster, a great sponsor for this event this evening. I had so much fun. I can't thank you enough for being in here with me tonight and filling the shoes for old Soup there. We hope to have him back soon, and we certainly wish him and his family very well as they battle through some issues right now. But we're holding a good thought for him, and we're keeping the chair warm for you, Soup.
Absolutely. Cannot skip that out on Soup. We miss you dearly. Take care of what you need to take care of, and you know that we'll be waiting for you with open arms to come on back, Soup. So with that being said, thank you for having me on here. It was fun. Got to finally call a Lionheart race, so I can check that one off my GSRC bucket list. I have a feeling somehow I'm going to get signed up for another series that runs a Nürburgring here sooner or later, so that'll be another one off the bucket list. But you know what? Enough about me. Let's just send this one off to the home send this one off. Send it back to the house. I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I'd listened to Krahula's interview there. It just kind of made me go that way. Or it's just kind of delirious at the end of a long day. So we want to thank Monster World for presenting our race today. Thank you to our series organizer, George Anzaldo. We also want to thank the software and the hardware that we use for the broadcast that you can see listed on screen as well. Thank you to the team today, Sean, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing Channel, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at facebook.com/the Global Sim Racing Channel. A special thank you to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who both provide music for our broadcasts. Their music can be found on the screen listed as well. As we talked about, the next race in the Lionheart League, April 27th, DirtyBlinds.com 300 at Pocono. We also have other upcoming races for other series on screen, so go on out there and check them out, mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and I'll see you on the track.